This is a silicone breast implant. Right now, if you want to enlarge your breast size, something like this will be placed inside of your body. The other option is a fat transfer. It looks a lot more natural, but the limitations are that you are only able to usually achieve about a half a cup size to possibly 1 full cup size, and the results are not always predictable, and sometimes multiple treatments are needed. But what if you didn't need implants? What if instead your body could grow or regenerate its own natural breast tissue? I'm going to talk about a pioneering company that's developing regenerative breast implants. But first, I want you to know that we are at the beginning of an anti-aging and beauty revolution. And this isn't some fantasy or science fiction concept. It's an emerging reality. We've already seen regenerative treatments used by athletes and celebrities to help with injury and disease. Joe Rogan, Cristiano Ronaldo, Rafael Nadal, Peyton Manning, Steph Curry, Zac Efron, and Tiger Woods are just a few of the high-profile names who have turned to stem cell therapy. In 2022, Chris Hemsworth turned to stem cell treatments after learning he has 2 copies of the APOE4 gene, which makes him 8 to 10 times more likely to develop Alzheimer's. David Beckham, Margot Robbie, and Harry Styles have been rumored to use stem cells for facial rejuvenation. The sad truth is that aging is a degenerative process, and as humans, we have always searched for the fountain of youth. We want to live longer, and because we are living longer, we want to look and feel our absolute best. This is particularly relevant as 2 leading cardiologists predict that stem cells could push human lifespans to 120 to 150 years. So what is regenerative medicine? Regenerative medicine is the science of restoring youthful tissue function and structure lost or damaged by aging by using the body's own system. My name is Emily Dowe, and I'm a board-certified physician associate, and I became passionate about regenerative aesthetics when I discovered injectable treatments that helped my body naturally rebuild collagen, elastin, and even fat, directly addressing the root causes of facial aging. Regenerative aesthetics is slowly revolutionizing the field of aesthetic medicine, and as discussed in a previous video, fillers are taking a back seat. Filler sales have been trending down because of all the issues with unnatural looking results and filler attracting too much water and accumulating in the skin tissue. And let me just say that I'm not shocked at all by the backlash with filler. I personally have never been a big fan of using filler all over the face and repeating injections where you solely rely on fillers to address volume loss, but I still use filler and I think it has its place. But when it comes to fighting the signs of facial aging, I prefer treatments that can rejuvenate and actually improve the quality of skin. And we're not just talking about exosomes and stem cells. We're talking about brand new biostimulators. One in particular just landed here in the US market this year, and some secret cutting edge treatments that are on the horizon, like injectable breast implants and 3D bioprinted breast implants. So if you're interested in regenerative aesthetics, stay tuned. Reron skin boosters recently landed here in the US, and you may have heard the buzz on social media or magazine articles talking about the salmon sperm facial because it's derived from salmon DNA. Kim Kardashian was said to have this facial, as well as Jennifer Aniston. I'm very excited about Reron, and why I'm so excited about Reron is because it's a real skin booster. It contains polynucleotides, and polynucleotides are biological molecules that play a role in tissue repair and regeneration. And what makes this product unique is it's specifically designed for the superficial layers of skin. In South Korea, where Reron is hugely popular, providers inject micro-injections of the solution all over the face, so it improves skin quality, it gives the skin a more youthful texture, it reduces fine lines, it improves the elasticity and tone of the skin, and adds hydration by stimulating fibroblasts to produce collagen and elastin. And they're using it to target fine lines and crepiness around the eyes. Crepiness around the eyes is something that almost everyone complains about as they get older. Botox can help crow's feet here on the sides, but those fine lines and crepey skin that happens under and around the eyes and upper eyelids, Botox is not going to help with this. As we get older, we don't produce the same quality of skin. With biostimulators like Sculptra, Radius, or Renuva, you cannot inject very superficially to target the skin texture, the pores, and very, very fine lines and wrinkles. Another reason I'm excited about Regeneron is because there have been no reports of vascular occlusion or blindness. Providers who are allowed to inject it overseas have been using it in Korea since 2014, and it has since gained approval in over 30 countries, including the UK, and last year in Australia. A lot of providers like using it to treat high-risk areas like the forehead and the upper eyelids, because these areas are very risky areas to treat with filler. You could risk blindness, and there have been no reports of blindness from Reron because it's not cross-linked, so this makes it much thinner and more fluid. They're also using it for skin beyond the face, like to treat laxity on the neck or even the hand rejuvenation, the stomach, butt, and thighs. But here's the catch. It's only approved for topical use here in the US. When you inject Reron, you can get better skin rejuvenation and this glow from within type of look that people are describing as glass skin. And unfortunately, topical injections can help, but they can't match what you could get when you inject it. SkinVive, the only skin booster currently available in the US, isn't regenerative. It's simply a thinner cross-linked hyaluronic acid filler. And if you attempted to use it in the delicate areas under the eyes, like you would with Reron, it could result in adding too much volume, like what happened with Lisa Rinna. And again, this is because SkinVive is not a real regenerative skin booster. It's a cross-linked hyaluronic acid filler. Reron is actively working towards FDA approval for injectable use, but this could take years. PLLA, or polylactic acid, is the powerhouse ingredient behind Sculptra. It's also the focus of research. Researchers are looking at how PLLA can serve as a scaffold to help your body build collagen and tissues more effectively. Because PLLA is strong and biodegradable, it's a promising material for bone regeneration, especially when combined with materials like hydroxyapatite, which is the regenerative ingredient in Radiesse, and bioglass. Bioglass is not like its name sounds. It's not like the glass in windows or bottles. It's a biocompatible material made from minerals like silica, which is sand, calcium, sodium, and phosphorus. When introduced into the body, it interacts with bodily fluids to form a layer similar to natural bone material. So, in the field of aesthetics, this could mean an injectable that not only stimulates collagen, but also stimulates and supports bone to address age-related bone loss. And bone loss affects our facial structure because when we lose bone in our face, we lose the support of our skin and soft tissues, which contributes to creating excess skin. Radiesse and Sculptra are also being studied in combining them with micronutrients. One study showed that people responded better and quicker to Radiesse that was mixed with these micronutrients. Our fibroblasts are the cells that make collagen. Those cells age, so they don't produce the same type of collagen as you get older. So the whole idea of using these poly micronutrients with biostimulators like Radiesse and Sculptra is that you're bathing the cells with these nutrients that can help it regenerate so they can produce even more youthful, higher quality collagen. When it comes to biostimulators, South Korea and Europe offer a way more extensive selection, and there are things that we don't have here in the US that I wish were available here. And if I were to travel overseas, I would try two things. One, Lenluma, because people are reporting that they're having better results with Lenluma versus Sculptra, which makes sense because it has more polylactic acid in it. The other product I would be curious to try is Sunicose. Sunicose is made of hyaluronic acids with a specific blend of 6 amino acids, and it stimulates fibroblasts to produce new collagen and elastin to help improve skin elasticity and hydration, fine lines, wrinkles, and overall skin quality. And we don't have a product like this here in the United States that's approved for injection that can help with more superficial layers of our skin. But we do have Reron, but it's not approved for injecting. The collagen stimulators we do have here in the United States, Sculptra and Radiesse, work on deeper levels. But what's interesting is that Sunicose utilizes a patented blend of 6 specific amino acids, and biostimulators like Sculptra and Radiesse are being studied by combining them with amino acids or micronutrients that we just spoke about in the hopes to stimulate a superior quality of collagen. So incorporating amino acids into treatments seems to be an emerging strategy. We can't really talk about regenerative aesthetic medicine without mentioning fat transfers, because that was one of the first surgical regenerative treatments. And after doing fat transfers, surgeons noticed something remarkable. When fat was transferred to the face, patients noticed more than just volume restoration. Their faces didn't just look fuller, their skin looked healthier, firmer, tighter, and more radiant. Their skin had this youthful glow that just couldn't be explained by the fat transfer alone. And upon further investigation, doctors and scientists discovered that adipose-derived stem cells, or the stem cells in fat, played a big role. During a fat transfer, some of the fat cells die during the process, but the stem cells survive in lower oxygen environments, and they begin to reproduce new fat. And the scaffolds that have proteins associated with it begin to recruit other cells from bone marrow to move into the fat, and these cells also help stimulate the production of collagen and elastin. We now have a way to stimulate our own fat without having to go under the knife and harvest our fat from another area of our body. It's called Renuva. But Renuva doesn't contain any fat itself, and there's no cells or DNA inside. Instead, it has collagen, growth factors, and proteins that are found in the extracellular matrix, which is like the support system or scaffolding outside of the cells that tells cells how to grow and regenerate. I've actually been trying out Renuva for the past 6 months. I just injected myself actually a few days ago. And the reason why I wanted to give it a try is because I've been treating myself with Sculptra for over 10 years, and it's been a game changer. It's helped me restore lost volume to my face. I'm very lean. I exercise and run a lot, and I try to keep myself at a very strict body weight. So I tend to lose facial volume very easily. And Sculptra was the first regenerative injectable treatment I discovered, and it was a game changer for me. And I usually get it done around every 6 to 9 months to maintain my results. But because I wanted to give Renuva a try, I stopped doing Sculptra. So it's been over a year since I had Sculptra done. And I also decided to stop because I was going to do Renuva. And I knew if I saw changes that I would know that those changes are from the Renuva. And the whole reason I really wanted to give Renuva a try is because a youthful face isn't just collagen. Collagen does play a role. It gives us volume because it adds structure to our skin. But when we're young, let's say in our early 20s, most of the volume in our faces is from fat. Fat is the primary contributor. Renuva is only currently available here in the US, and the results are said to last long, possibly longer than the results from Sculptra. And in a very recent study in which Renuva was used to treat a patient's butt, the results from Renuva lasted 8 years. The downside to Renuva is that it's very expensive, but there may be another treatment very similar to Renuva that's going to be more affordable, that's on the horizon and will possibly be available sometime this year if everything works out. So subscribe to this channel to be alerted for updates about it. We can't really talk about regenerative aesthetics without talking about PRP and PRF, because these two treatments are heavily hyped up in this field. So here are my thoughts. PRP and PRF, I think, can be great for certain things like healing, improving skin quality, stimulating hair growth, and helping the skin recover from injuries faster. PRP has also been used in orthopedics, where it's injected into joints to reduce inflammation and alleviate pain and repair injuries, with mixed results because its effectiveness is largely dependent on the severity of inflammation and the level of joint damage. PRP contains growth factors, which can be beneficial for injecting it into the scalp for hair restoration or under the eyelid skin to help brighten and improve dark circles. But here's where I think the hype gets ahead of reality. PRP and PRF are often marketed for things they simply can't do, like volume restoration. What's in PRP and PRF? PRP and PRF both contain plasma, platelets, growth factors, and cytokines. PRF goes a step further with the addition of the fibrin matrix, which provides a scaffold for slowly sustained release of growth factors and supports tissue growth. I think PRF can be great for repair and regeneration, but the fibrin matrix isn't a direct stimulator of robust collagen synthesis, meaning it can't bulk up tissue significantly. But some people are treating it like it's an alternative to filler. For example, instead of getting filler in the smile lines or temples, they're told to get PRP or PRF. Just the other day, someone asked me in the comment section if they could use PRF or easy gel filler for a chin enhancement. I understand that some people may not want to get filler, and some practices may be marketing PRF and PRP this way. And getting PRF and PRP can be very expensive because it takes time for the providers to do. They have to draw your blood, spin it, prep it, and you have to get a series of treatments. But despite the cost and effort, these treatments cannot add a significant amount of volume. I mean, if we think about it, no one's advertising a PRP or PRF butt lift. Why? Because it doesn't deliver on the volume needed to achieve results. So I think PRP and PRF are valuable tools in regeneration and repair, but I think they've been overhyped for delivering results that they can achieve. They're not alternatives to volumizing treatments like fillers, Sculptra, or Renuva. If you've tried PRP or PRF, comment below and let everyone know what you thought. Stem cells and exosomes are at the forefront of regenerative medicine and regenerative aesthetics. Stem cells are unique cells because they don't just repair damage. They have the potential to transform into entirely new cells and tissue. And exosomes have recently become more recognized for their role in aesthetic medicine. Exosomes are tiny bubble-like structures that cells release to communicate with one another. They're like tiny biological text messages that influence how nearby cells behave. Both stem cells and exosomes are key players in regenerative aesthetics, but unfortunately, when it comes to their use and finding a reputable provider or clinic, it's literally the wild, wild west. Right now, there are a number of clinics that are currently offering stem cell injections that harvest or use your own stem cells. Some harvest them from bone marrow by performing a bone marrow aspirate in your hip, or they extract it from the fat from your own body. Then they process it and inject it back into your face. But if you have to harvest or extract your own stem cells, it becomes a little bit more of an invasive procedure. So I personally won't be flocking to get these treatments done. Other clinics offer stem cell treatments in which you use donor cells. But let me tell you why you have to be very careful with these types of treatments, whether it be from a donor or your own stem cells. Back in 2012, there was an incident in which a woman in her 60s had a stem cell facelift in Los Angeles. Fat was taken from her abdomen, processed to extract stem cells, and injected back into her face. But here's the twist. At the same time the doctor did the stem cell injections, he also injected Radiesse, which was a dermal filler that is made of calcium hydroxyapatite. Calcium hydroxyapatite is the same mineral found in bone. Take a guess what happened. 3 months later, she started having trouble opening her right eye. It seemed to have glued itself shut. Every time she tried opening her eye, she felt excruciating pain. And what's even more strange is she noticed clicking noises every time she blinked. She went to another doctor and he thought she was crazy. Clicking noises when she blinked? So he decided to do surgery to see what was going on, and they discovered bone fragments around her eyes. The stem cells were triggered by the filler, which in this case was made of calcium hydroxyapatite, the same mineral found in our bones. So the stem cells started behaving like bone cells and growing bone. So she had to undergo surgery to remove the bone. So this shows you that stem cells can be very powerful because of what happened to her. And this is why you should be incredibly cautious about getting stem cells and combining them with other treatments. Just because it's regenerative doesn't mean it can't have unintended and permanent side effects. As of now, the only stem cell products approved by the FDA for consumers in the United States are for patients with blood disorders. So clinics offering stem cells or exosomes in the United States are operating in a legally gray zone, which is why people and celebrities are going overseas to places like Mexico, Panama, and Colombia to get their stem cell treatments because they have less restrictive regulations. So clinics can offer treatments that aren't FDA approved. Joe Rogan and Mel Gibson have spoken about getting stem cells overseas. The cost of stem cell treatments, whether they be overseas or here in the US, can range anywhere from around $5,000 to $25,000 per session on average. And most patients need a series of treatments for noticeable results. But a Swedish startup named Cellco Labs is aiming to change that by increasing production efficiency and scaling operations. The company claims that it can slash prices of stem cell treatments over the next decade to make it more accessible. But for now, stem cells remain an exclusive option, largely for the privileged and those willing to invest heavily in their health and appearance. I currently have my own stem cells, which were taken from my hair follicles banked with a lab. Taking your stem cells from your hair follicles are a lot less invasive than getting it from your bone marrow or fat. So if anyone is interested in this service, leave a comment. The younger you extract your stem cells, the better. So it's better to do this sooner rather than later. And the company offering the service will store your stem cells. They have a yearly fee and it's very affordable, and they also have family plans available. Looking out further into the future of regenerative aesthetics, a company in Israel by the name of CollPlant is working on developing regenerative breast implants to provide a revolutionary alternative to traditional breast implants. They figured out a way to produce collagen from genetically engineered tobacco plants. They're calling it RH collagen, short for recombinant human collagen, and it's supposedly identical to the type 1 collagen produced by the human body. And with this, they're developing 2 regenerative products, regenerative breast implants and regenerative filler. Their 3D breast implant will still need to be surgically implanted, but both types of implants, the injectable and the 3D implant, they're designed to degrade in synchronization with the growth of your natural breast tissue. And in both these procedures, fat cells will still need to be taken from the patient to support breast tissue regeneration. But if CollPlant's 3D bioprinted breast implants can provide sufficient volume and durability, traditional silicone or saline breast implants could see a significant decline in popularity, potentially becoming obsolete. In the last few years, so many women have been getting explants and choosing to remove their traditional breast implants because they're unhappy with how they look or because of health issues and complications. Regenerative procedures that grow your own natural breast tissue would look 100% natural looking, without the common complications of traditional implants like rupture, rippling, capsular contracture, or breast implant illness, who would choose traditional implants when you could regenerate your own tissue? Comment below and let me know your thoughts. This company is also working on developing photocurable regenerative filler. The RH collagen filler will be injected in a semi-liquid phase and hardened after injection by light illumination through the skin. The photocuring is expected to ease the injection process, and as the product degrades, newly formed tissue is expected to regenerate and take its place. Want to know something interesting? Guess what company entered into a worldwide exclusive development and commercialization agreement with CollPlant? Allergan Aesthetics, also known as AbbVie. They're the makers of Botox and Juvederm fillers, and we've covered them in great detail in this video. And by the way, if you watch this video, the company has since changed their mind about their loyalty program, and they're going to result back into their old ways of doing things, starting sometime this month in January. I guess they realized how upset the industry was about this. But the fact that they entered into this agreement with CollPlant shows that they recognize regenerative medicine is the future. In the future, regenerative aesthetic medicine will focus on rejuvenating all the layers that we lose with aging. Bone, the deep fat pads, the superficial fat pads, the skin's extracellular matrix, and collagen and elastin. And early intervention is becoming more and more popular. People are wanting to prevent and intervene early, some even starting in their mid to late 20s or early 30s. Facial aging is a degenerative process. Some even liken it to the slow decay of a fruit. The goal is to keep the fruit as fresh and vibrant as possible for as long as you can. I do offer virtual consults to help people decide if they should start, and because I love regenerative aesthetic medicine, it's guided me into taking a more holistic approach. So I often take into account your lifestyle because, unlike filler, your response to regenerative treatments can vary, and I want you to have the best result you possibly can. Would you try regenerative treatments, or have you tried regenerative treatments? If so, what were your results? Let us know in the comments section. And if you want to stay at the forefront of upcoming regenerative aesthetics and you're interested in knowing how you can stay looking as youthful as possible, hit that subscribe button, but don't forget to watch these videos next.